Think back to the computer voices of 30 years ago. They were slow, strictly monotone, and undeniably artificial. Today, if you pick up the phone, you might hear a customer service AI that laughs, breathes, and speaks with stunning warmth. You might expect that added realism to feel comfortable. Instead, it often produces a distinct, creeping sense of unease, a psychological friction that makes you want to hang up immediately. When you hear a clunky 90s-era text-to-speech engine, your brain instantly tags it as a machine. It fits perfectly into a clear mental box, generating zero confusion and zero alarm. A modern synthetic voice blurs that line. It sounds close enough to a real person that your subconscious threat detection system kicks in, correctly flagging it as a deceptive counterfeit. Long before humans developed complex vocabularies, we relied on sound to survive. Our auditory processing system evolved first to identify predators and kin, not to parse grammar. Every syllable carries hidden biological markers, the intake of breath, micropauses, and physical tension of the vocal cords. Instantly, your auditory cortex strips away these layers to decode the speaker's age, health, and true emotional state. This system operates entirely below conscious thought. It acts as a strict gatekeeper, constantly scanning incoming audio for danger or deception. When artificial sound perfectly mimics these specific biological cues, it bypasses basic communication and directly triggers our survival instincts. In 1970, roboticist Masahiro Mori noticed that people liked machines more as they looked more human, but only up to a point. An industrial robot is completely safe because it looks like a tool. As realism nears perfection, affinity turns to revulsion, the uncanny valley. This drop-off happens with audio too. When a synthetic voice gets too real, comfort takes a steep plunge. Researchers call this the uncanny valley of prosody, where micro-failures in rhythm become intensely obvious. These systems suffer from over-regularization. They generate speech using smoothed, mathematically perfect statistical contours. Real human speech is chaotic, constantly adjusted in real time by active cognitive planning. This chart shows ratings of synthetic voices with modified pitch variations. When researchers flattened a voice's natural pitch range to between 25 and 75%, listeners overwhelmingly rated it as highly mechanical and significantly less human. The engineers building these models are trying to achieve flawless statistical averages. Yet that exact lack of organic imperfection is what trips our biological alarm bells. Beneath these technical glitches lies a deeper deficit, known as the affective gap, the complete absence of a physiological origin for the sound. Current models can easily simulate a broad category like happiness or sadness. They fail entirely when asked to render compound, contradictory states like bittersweet nostalgia or awestruck fear. For us, emotional expression begins as an involuntary biological event, a racing heart or contracted muscles. That shapes the sound of our voice. An AI's voice is just a post hoc acoustic mask, a simulated output with no body attached. When your ear picks up the acoustic signals of a breath or trembling vocal cord, your nervous system expects a physical body. When it detects that the biology is missing, severe cognitive friction occurs. An artificial assistant might deliver lines with perfect, programmed empathy. Because there is no living entity actually experiencing that emotion, the brain correctly interprets the interaction as a deceptive threat. For humans, a voice historically functioned as the definitive proof of a physical body and an intentional mind. Hyper-realistic synthetic audio circumvents that guarantee. It bypasses our logical defenses, synthesizing warmth, intimacy, and trust that it simply hasn't earned. As these technically polished but emotionally flat voices flood our devices, researchers warn of aesthetic diskilling. By constantly listening to smoothed-out artificial speech, we risk dulling our collective sensitivity to actual emotional depth. When we stop hearing the difference between a friend's genuine concern and a machine's programmed warmth, we lose the primary tool we use to verify another person's intent. This loss of nuance leaves the mechanism of social trust without the data it needs to identify authentic human connection. These nearly perfect simulations trap our evolutionary instincts in a state of permanent psychological doubt.
leaving us unable to intuitively confirm the presence of a conscious mind.